Hey guys, welcome to our weekly live event. You guys already know who I am, Pascal Corcus, and I am happy to help you with any of your financial questions. Let me see if I can go grab a charger because it actually everything is dying. All right. So welcome back to our weekly live event. It's good to see everybody. Hope everyone's having a great day. The week's been a little challenging, but everything's been good. Hope everyone's been good for them as well. And I'm kind of looking forward to answering your questions. So definitely get your questions ready. I want to kind of dive in, give you as much value as possible. And I'm going to run over a couple of examples some followers were asking me to give. So I'm going to run through a couple of examples, and then I'm going to go into your Q&A. Just going to give everyone a chance to hop on. Hey, what's up, Humberto? Humberto, what's up? What's up, Abe? It's one of Mr. Good to see everybody. What's up, Fredos? Fredos actually sent me some safety gear because he saw me doing construction on one of my projects, and I was wearing any eye protection. And it's kind of tough because I don't bring any tools or anything with me, and then I see the guys doing some stuff, and I'm like, I want to take down this wall. So I started taking a jackhammer and jackhammering the wall, and it was fun. But be safe, wear the proper eye protection. So it was good to see everybody. What's up, Mike? Good to see you on YouTube. Again, on YouTube, the screen isn't flipped around, so you can actually see it better on YouTube. The numbers come out proper. What's up, Real? Nice to see you. What's up, Drinkwater? What's up, King? Abe says, how are you doing, brother? I own a construction company as well. I'm doing good. We're really busy right now. Things are going good. Just trying to find valuable properties to work on. It's really tough right now, but we got a couple that we have our eyes on. All right. What's up, Lena? What's up, guys? All right. So what's going on, Mike? How you doing? I'm doing good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on real quick. I'm going to put up here. Some different options. Hey, what's up, Jay? I used to work with Jay when I was 19 at Bank of America. We worked together in the branch for like a few years. So good seeing you, Jay. Drinkwater says, I'm glad you're engaging with your followers. Thanks. I always engage with my followers. So what's up, George? Hey, what's up? How you doing, Gerald? So I'm going to go and I'm going to run some scenarios. You're welcome. I'm going to run some scenarios for you guys up on the board. The scenario I'm going to run up for you right now is pretty, it gives you basically three options. Option one is you own the property, you don't have a loan on it. Option two is refinancing the property. And option three is doing a home equity line of credit on the property. And in the three options, I'm going to go over the pros and the cons of those three options, okay? So we're gonna run that through the board real quick. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask at the end, and I'll run through those examples. So option one we're gonna go through is a person has cash. Examples of $200,000 property, okay? So they have a $200,000 property, and a $200,000 property, I'm gonna give it very basic numbers. This doesn't mean this is a real market situation. This is only an example, all right? So if you have a $200,000 property, you have no money in your pocket, right? You put all your money into buying this property, it's paid cash. So in this scenario, $200,000 property, it's worth $200,000. You should be making about $2,000 a month rent. Now, again, right now prices are very high, so it's really hard to do this, but normally I shoot for a 1% ratio, meaning 1 month of rent is the property value. So then out of this, you're gonna have about 35% is the rule. In expenses, okay? 35% of your expenses, your taxes, your insurance, all that stuff, and your maintenance. This is assuming the property is in good condition. It doesn't need a lot of work, okay? So this is gonna be about $700, which leaves you $1,400 a month. So option one, you're bringing in $1,400 a month. In a year, that's what, 14,000, 28, that's $16,800 on a $200,000 loan. That's really good. I mean, nothing breaks, no vacancy ratio, none of that stuff. That's really good, but really, that's not really the best return for your money, in my opinion. This is a little over 8%. It's a little over 8% on your money, cash on cash return. Now in this scenario, why I don't like this scenario, why I don't function this way, right? There's a lot of investors that are successful doing this type of investing. Why I don't do it is because when you are doing this style of investing, and when you're doing this style of investing, if the market tanks, you have no other cash. You can't buy any other deal. You're stuck. If the tenant leaves, and this is a single family home, you have no other income. So you're stuck. So even though you have cash, when the market tanks, it's hard to sell properties. So you're in a very difficult position because you can't make a lot of moves. It's also very difficult to get a loan because now when the market tanks, normally this property is going to go from like 200 down to like 140 to 160K. So it's one of the two. So it's going to be around that range. So it could go even lower in a bad neighborhood, or not a strong financially strong neighborhood. Like for example, in very rural areas, even though they're not bad neighborhoods, they don't have a lot of potential buyers. So the point is, when you have 200K cash property, purchased to cash, it's very difficult for you to have much flexibility when the market goes down. Single tenant, return on investment is okay, but if you lose that tenant, you're not making much money. So option two is with a loan, okay? So with option two, you have a $200,000 property. So your loan on this property is probably going to be about, let's say it's investment, you're probably going to put down about 75%. So 150K loan. All right, and 50K is your cash in the deal. The rent is still the same, $2,000 a month. The expenses are still the same, 35%. Okay, which is roughly like Okay, this is wrong over here. 35% is actually $700. And a $150,000 loan, principal and interest, is going to be around $900 a month. So $400 is your net times 12 was $4,800 a year. In both of these scenarios, I'm not including vacancy ratio or anything breaking because I'm trying to keep it very simple. Now this 48 divided by 50,000 is almost 10% return. And this was not accurate. I gotta fix it. It's actually 13. It says 15, 6. It's around 7.5. So roughly around 7.5%. In this scenario is almost 10% return. So in the first scenario, all cash, you're making about 7.5% return on your asset. And you're making about 10% return on cash. So the two scenarios is your return on cash. I apologize, I'm a little distracted because there's some noise out here. So the point is, in this scenario, you're actually bringing a larger return on your cash. Now, someone might say, Pascal, this is riskier because you have a loan. What I'm going to say is, in reality, it's not as risky because one, you have more cash in your bank, so you have more room to do things. One, if the market goes down, you can buy more deals. Two, if there's vacancy, you can cover the expenses each month. With this example, you have no other money, or you have very little money to cover the expenses. And in this scenario, lastly, is if you got 4 properties in total with the same 200K, you'll be bringing in almost $20,000 a month, or $20,000 a year. Where in this example, you're bringing about $15,000 a year. You're going to be able to have at least 4 tenants bringing you in money. Where this other example, you'll have 1 tenant bringing you in money. So if you lose 1 here, you got 3 other paying you. If you lose 1 here, you have no other tenants paying you. So in the last point of this is when you have 4 of these deals, you have 800K total. The average appreciation on a property is 3%. So 3% a year on this 200K is $6,000 in appreciation. In this example over here, it's going to be about $24,000 a year in appreciation. So not only did you bring in almost $20,000 in rent, you also brought in $24,000 in depreciation. Appreciation. Property value going up on average, okay? So this will help you get wealthy quick. This will help you retire quicker. This won't. There's a lot of people who make it all cash. But most people, it's too difficult to do it this way. This is this example. I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask me any questions. I'd love to be able to answer any of your questions. So guys, as I said before, this is going to be backwards because if I flip the camera around, I'm not going to be able to see the comments. If you would like to see it forward, go on YouTube. It actually has the forward-facing camera, and you'll be able to see it a lot better. Yes, I have actually, someone asked, can I record this? I have hours and hours of videos on YouTube with all these recordings with different examples of running numbers, and also videos of my properties that I own. What's up, Queen? How are you? So again, in this scenario here, it's an example of cash versus having a loan. Now, initially you might think, okay, Pascal, what's a big deal? Between these two examples, there's not much difference. It's only $4,000 or $5,000 a year. You got to understand that's $4,000 in rent, net rent income. Times 10 years, that's $40,000. You got to think about it in 10-year cycles. It's $40,000 in additional cash to your pocket. The next thing is this. Right here is $24,000 in asset appreciation. Over 10 years, it's $240,000 in asset appreciation. If you did the cash model, you would have basically $60,000 in appreciation. So between these two people over 10 years, this one here gained an additional $40,000 in cash and $180,000 in appreciation. This person here that got the loan would be $220,000 wealthier. This is a rough example, but this is very close to how I model my investing. And this is how I do it. That's really the basics of it. Mike Reed, what about your third example? Awesome stuff so far. So in this third example is actually really going to be a two-part example. It's going to be the refining portion of this. Once you're in a few years later, you're going to be doing refis. So I'm going to be showing that to you. And then should you do a regular refi, or should you do a home equity line of credit, or should you do a hybrid? You're welcome, Hiba. Hen says, do you think that we should not go after any deals now and wait for the market to crash? I am still looking for deals, but the deals I'm looking for are good deals, like significantly undervalued. Like, for example, I'm looking at a property that once it's renovated, it's worth $2 million. Currently, I could probably get it for $1 million, and it would be about $200,000 to $300,000 in remodel budget. So I'd be in one for $1.3 million, and the value of the property finished would be $2 million. So that type of deal is still good. Those are the type of deals you should be going for. Now you would say, Pascal, I don't have $1 million. You don't have to have $1 million. I didn't have $1 million when I started. I didn't have a lot of money when I started. Find a $100,000 property that's worth $200,000 completed. Will you buy it for 100, put in 30, and when you're done, it's worth 200. That is really what you want to try to go for. A duplex, triplex, quadplex. You could also say, Pascal, there's nothing that's cheap in my area. The dollar amount is not what's important. It is, what is it worth today? How much you're buying it for today? Because you make your money in the buy. How much is your renovation cost? And then how much is it valued when you're finished? Now, the next thing you might say is, I don't know how to calculate these numbers. That's where I say study your market. If you don't understand these numbers yet, you have to watch my videos. You're going to see me explain these numbers multiple times and in different ways. After you see it again and again and again, you'll start understanding. You're going to eventually start looking at properties in person and online. And what I'm saying is going to start to click. It took me 5 years. I'm summarizing this information for you guys so it doesn't take you guys that long. So you can speed up your learning process. You have to learn. The reason is, if you ever team up with someone that doesn't know what they're doing, you'll be able to tell that they don't know what they're doing by what they're saying. Study your market. Study wherever you're planning to put your money. Will California still be a good real estate market for investors? I think it's going to go down a lot So I would wait for the prices to go down significantly before buying. If you're a young investor starting, what should be your first property purchased and why? So if I was a young investor and I would restart, I would do one of two things. One, I would, if I don't have a lot of money, I would try to buy an owner-occupied fourplex, 4-unit property. This way I can live in one side and collect the money from the other 3. If you are working and you have a good amount of money saved up and you make good money from your 9 to 5, you make good money from your business, it's probably not the best idea for you to go and start doing this investing stuff if it's not within your niche. If you're not already in construction, if you're not in the industry, it's probably not a good idea. It's probably better for you to partner with someone else that's already doing it and get the efficiency of scale. Remember, there's a return on your time. There's one thing that you cannot replace, which is your time. Don't waste it. Partner with someone, learn how to do it with them. But if you don't have the money and you do have the time, then go and do it yourself and watch my stuff and you'll learn how to do it. Do you think Baltimore is a good investment? A good investment? Well, it's really not the city. It depends also on certain parts of the city, because there's certain areas where I live, they're going to go down hard. And there's certain areas where I live, they're going to go up. That's right. There is certain places in this country, when the market tanks, they're actually going to go up in value because people still have money. There are certain people out there that still have money, and those properties are still going to be in demand. Does a refi affect if you didn't finish the comment. What's up, guys? Double-digit cap rate is what we look for. So, block. Double-digit cap rate is what I used to go for. I don't go for them anymore. I sold a property recently with double-digit cap rate, and it's good for that type of investor. I'm not that type of investor anymore. I try to make my money on appreciation, because the appreciation of an area is a lot more valuable to me than cap rate. Cap rate is cash flow. Cash flow is nice, but wealth isn't built in your cash flow. Because if you're worried about cash flow, you're going to pay for a property cash like this guy does. But if you're looking to build wealth and to basically get rid of your job one day, this is the way to go. You'll get there a lot faster. And this way is not focused on cash flow. It's not focused on cap rate. It focuses on cash on cash. So focus on cash in asset appreciation, not cash flow. Cash flow is nice, but it's not everything. I'm doing good, guys. Thanks for asking. It's good to see everybody. Now I'm going to go into the next lesson, which is the difference between different ways of doing refis. Also, some people were asking me questions like to look at and run the numbers on a property they're looking to buy. If you have that type of question, put it into the question section. I'll actually look the property up on Zillow. I'll run some numbers. I'll give you a real quick idea of what I think of the property. So let's keep the scenario the same, right? This is the scenario. You purchased this $200,000 property. Let's just say you bought it in a good area. So in 5 years, this property is worth $300,000, partially because you did some stuff yourself, you painted it, you fixed it up, so on. or your investment group painted it, fixed it up, did basic things, but made it look nicer. So now the property is worth $300,000. Okay? This is an owner-occupied multi-unit property, okay? Now the loan is about $150,000, like we said. We'll just keep it simple. Okay? And we're not gonna account like the loan got paid down over the 5 years and so on. We're just gonna keep it flat, or keep it simple to keep the number simple. So the property you purchased it for 200, loan of 150, and current market value is 300,000. So the question is, what should you do in this scenario? So option one is obviously do nothing. So I don't really need to run numbers on that, do nothing. Option two is I would refinance the first mortgage, 150,000 refi. I would go from, right now I'm going from 4.99% to 2.69%. In this scenario, I would save roughly $200 a month. This is times 12, $2,400 saved. And then I still have remaining here, because in an owner-occupied property, you can go up to 89.9% roughly in most markets. So the max loan amount is $270,000, 270 minus 150. You can get a HELOC, a second loan, for $120,000. $120,000, and normally you don't have any closing costs on the home equity line of credit, or it's like $500. It's very small. $120,000 line of credit, if you don't take any of the money out, additional payments are $0. If you take the money out, normally it's around 4 to 5% loan. So let's say 5%, it's $6,000 a year. So it'd be $6,000 for you to use the money. But if you're to the negative figure, but if you're looking and you do well, like I do, I normally make about 20 to 25% of my money. So even though it costs me 5%, let's just say I make 20% of my money, I would make $224,000 additional with this money. So I would make a net positive $18,000. So you saved $2,400 and you made $18,000 on this refi. So an option two, though, would be not to do a home equity line of credit, which is just to do a cash out refi. And a cash out refi on a home owner occupied property will allow you to go to 80%. So this new loan is not 150. At 80% of this figure is 240,000. 240. You're taking 150 to pay off your first loan, and you're paying all the closing costs. We're going to make it all equal because you have closing costs here, you have closing costs there. The issue now, and why I don't like the second option, it's very rare that I like the second option, is because the closing cost now, when you're doing cash out, can sometimes be around $5,000 additional closing costs. So to get this $90,000, which is nice, will cost you $5,000 extra in closing costs. So you'd get $85,000. I would be able to do the same thing here and get a home equity line of credit for the difference. But the difference between these two options is $5,000 extra in closing costs, which I would try to avoid having to spend. It's very rare. Sometimes it will go this way. I have to review the financials to give you that answer. But in this scenario, you're getting $85,000 cash. You would then still get a home equity line of credit, for the other 10%, which is going to be another $30K on the HELOC. Yeah, 30K. 90. Yeah, 30K on the HELOC. You'll be able to reinvest that money, and your return on investment would be similar to this one over here, except it costs you $5,000 more to get the loan. There is slight differences, but this is the main difference, is paying the $5,000 extra. Now, one other thing is, with this one here, because you have this first loan is now $240,000, you're paying principal as well when you do a full refi. On a home equity line of credit, normally, and you should always try to do this, normally they're interest only. So when you do that, your net payments are lower with this option than this option. So actually, with this option as well, you have a higher cash flow. So a lot of this is going to be like, that's a lot of data. I'm going to agree with you. That's a lot of data. But you have to constantly run your numbers, and then this is going to make more sense. Because if you run your numbers enough time, you're going to start realizing, okay, I see what he's saying. I already ran the numbers out before, and I get what he's saying. Sorry for being very detailed and going very quickly at the same time, but I want to try to give you as much value as possible. Question says, Humble Lifestyle says, anyway, I can get a property without a job. Yes, you can get a property without a job, but you have to have a decent amount of down payment, and you're going to go with a non-conventional loan. You're going to get with more, it's not a standard conventional loan. You're going to go with more of a private lending. It's definitely possible. If I want to leverage my equity to invest, can I borrow against it, or should I sell my... Didn't finish the question. So you can do either one. It depends what you have, how much equity is in it. What it comes down to is a return. If your current property is not bringing you that much money, normally I say sell it and buy something else that's going to give you a better return. Because just because you bought it doesn't mean you're married to it. I know that's really tough, because recently I just sold almost every property that I purchased when I was 19 to 23. So, you guys know I own 23 units by the age of 23. So recently I sold almost every property that I bought during that period of time. So now I'm preparing myself for bigger and better things. So you're not married to the properties that you purchased in the past. You got to make sure that you're making the smart decisions today with your current information to have the best future tomorrow. Daniel says, how can I get my more funding, and which bank do you think is better? So it depends what type of loan you're looking for. So there's like, I'm a mortgage broker, so I can go to different banks and check to see who has the best offer for a first mortgage, for a primary mortgage. If you're looking for secondary loans, like home equity line of credits, you can just Google it and see who's offering the best deal right now, and call a whole bunch of banks and then figure that out. It's not normally a Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Chase. They don't usually offer the best deals for lines of credits. You're looking at more online banks. Any advice on how to start out with 20K capital? So when I started, I had about 30K, and I purchased a duplex. I put down $28,000, 20%, and lived on one side, fixed it up, rented it out, did that, and it did very well. But you only have to put down 3.5%. So if you can find a very good property in a nice area, try to get a fourplex and use your 20% down, or a triplex or a duplex. It is better for you to have a good area than more units. Don't think I want the most units possible. Sounds cool saying I have a lot of units. What's cooler is making money. So just focus on that. Edward says, with more down payment, can you get a bigger loan? I'm having problem getting a loan for a house that is over what I'm qualified for. So correct. If you put more money down, you can qualify for a larger loan. Yes. because the payment is going to be lower. But do remember this, Edward, the actual interest right now is very, very low. It's basically free in my opinion. So your payment is almost nothing. Your payment isn't really going to be much for the principal and interest portion. It's the taxes, it's the insurance. It's going to suck up some of your debt to income in all the other loans that you have. Or you could have the problem that you have your own business and you didn't do your taxes properly, so now you're not showing the proper amount which you're actually making. There's the right way to do your taxes where you're not paying a lot of money, but you're still doing them properly so you can qualify for loans. But Edward, if you don't get a loan this time, I wouldn't sweat it. I think there's going to be a lot of good deals coming next year, so you should be able to find something then and get your taxes done properly in the beginning of 2021 for your 2020 tax return. George says, what do you think about New York market? In what type of stores would you invest on a mixed use? So one, I think the New York market is going to go down significantly. It's already gone down 10%. And I think it's going to go down a lot more. So I would not invest in rental property in New York. And I've been that way for forever. I just have not found value to do that. Now, mixed use, I like mixed use. I'm about to do I'm working on putting it together, this $20 million mixed use project in Florida. So it has apartments, has retail, has office, parking garage, everything. So in a very good market. It's the area that matters. And right now, New York's going to do very bad. It's going to do very bad for quite a while. And what you guys don't see happening, and what's going to happen, is that New York, because it's losing people, because it's losing sales, because of all this exodus that's happening, the city doesn't have enough revenue. So it's not going to have enough money for maintenance of streets and all of the different services that they need to offer, and the police. They're not going to have the money. So it's going to continue going down, just like LA. It's going to continue going down, just like Miami. It's going to continue going down. You have to be careful, because it's when the area with no jobs and no sales tax, no income tax, because no one's spending, no one's going out, no one's moving, no jobs, it's going to be really tough. So I would not do it there. What if you have a 1031? If you have a 1031, partner with someone in another deal in an area where it's going to make money, because you can still 1031 and partner with a deal with somebody else. So you have options. It's not end all be all. But George, I know you guys have a lot of properties up there in New York. I remember talking to you about that. So just talk to other investors out there. A lot of them are coming to Florida. A lot of it, and I think that's going to be a consistent trend for the next 15 years. Yes, people are leaving New York. All right, so better option is a line of credit. So that in this scenario, the better option is a line of credit. There is options where doing a cash out refi is better. So it's a case-by-case basis. In this scenario, getting not doing a cash out isn't going to be as beneficial. But there is scenarios where it is. So I have a scenario where I'm actually going to get out about $110,000 on my cash out refi, and the fees are about $5,000 more compared to the line of credit option. That works for me because, one, it's an investment property, and you can't get a line of credit on an investment property. It's very rare. So I'm going to do the cash out refi. 5 years, because I'm going to have a loan minimum 5 years, if not longer. Actually going to not be much money, because it's only about $1,000 per each $100,000 borrowing for 5 years. That's making my 2.69 rate be more like a 3.69 rate, which is still cheap money. So it depends. It is scenario based. It is not. Just remember this: loans are tools. You don't use a hammer to put in a screw. If your situation, the project you're doing, needs screws put in, you don't use a hammer. And sometimes you need a screwdriver. Sometimes you do need a hammer. It depends on the scenario. How do you feel about interest, loan, mortgage only? You mean interest only mortgages? They're fine. It just depends what is the interest rate, because sometimes interest is so high on interest only loans that it doesn't justify having an interest only loan. Are you able to buy properties with good credit, owe the bank, and still end up profitable? Yes, I do that all the time. I buy a property, get a bank loan, and end up being profitable. Normally, we're doing around like 16% plus cash on cash. Sometimes it can be as high as like 25 to 35. It depends. It really depends. Sometimes I start out, I'm only at 10% cash on cash, but I have plans to improve the property over the next few years and end up closer to 30% cash on cash. What's up, Doug? Can I get a property with no job? Yes, you can. All right. Daniel says, so look for 400K unit, which loan to do? FHA? Well, you can get an FHA loan if that's what you need. 3.5% down, you can get a 5% loan, 10% down, depends. But whatever works for you. The number one most important thing is finding a good deal. Dream Big said, you said it is hard to get a line of credit on investments. Correct. It is hard to get a home equity line of credit on an investment property. You can sometimes get a package line of credit. What that means is there is some banks that'll say, okay, package together these 5 houses and the total value is worth $1 million, and we'll give you a line of credit for 65% of that. That is something that is possible. But I don't really like it because it's only 65% loan to value. Griffin says, is it worth it to get a residential loan and live in the unit and renovate it before turning it into a rental? If it's a single family home, normally no. Normally no, it's not. In rare situations, it can be, but normally it's multi-units. Get started into real estate as a college student. Yes, that's what I did. I got started when I was 19. Hen says, do you think about investing in Washington, D.C.? Properties are really high at this moment. No, I do not think about that because the return on investment is low, the cash on cash is low, the cap rate is low. It's not really landlord friendly. So there is scenarios you can, but normally I'd rather invest in Florida, Texas, or Arizona where it's better. What's up, guys? What is the best loan option for a disabled person? If a person being disabled doesn't really change which loan option is best for them. Their financial situation depends on which loan option is best for them. Because they can still get a conventional or an FHA loan if you're on disability. That doesn't really change the loan type. It depends what your income is. So that will determine what the loan type is. I only have 8 years of tax return. That's fine. You only need 1 year of tax return if you have a W-2 job, okay? You can't do it with just 1 year of tax return. Griffin says, do you have to refi if you haven't paid off the full balance? So that's the thing. When I'm doing a refinance, I still owe a balance. So for example, in this scenario, you owed $150. The new loan, the mortgage would be $240. So this $150 gets paid off, and you only have the loan for $240. Then you get $90K cash. So they take the $240 of the cash, they pay off the old loan, give you $90K cash, and now there's a new loan for $240,000 on your property. So yes, you don't have to pay off the loan. You can just, refinance. How did you start reaching out to realtors and running the numbers at age 18, 19? Um, you can do a lot of information on the internet. There's a lot of info on the internet. I did have to get a lot of details from realtors because it wasn't as easy as it is today. They would email me things automatically. I would get emailed different properties for sale. But today it's a lot easier. You can go on Zillow, you can go on Property Appraiser, you can get a lot of data and figure it out. How do you create good credit score? I'm just starting at 19. I have videos on YouTube that talks about credit. I also have a course, Foundations of Personal Finance. It teaches you how to build your credit, and it teaches you how to basically everything I learned by the time I was 19 for me to be able to get 23 units by the age of 23. So it teaches you all that information. Dino says, Jacksonville, Florida, single-family homes for investment. How do you feel about the area since you're from Florida? I'm sure you know better. Okay, Jacksonville, Florida is a pretty good area. I don't agree with the single-family home part. Single-family homes are going to tank. So if you start buying them now, you're not going to do very well. But if you buy 4-unit properties, you're going to do a lot better. Remember, you don't have 4 roofs. You only have 1 roof with 4 units. It's going to work out better for you financially, on a maintenance-wise as well. So multi-units are more profitable. It doesn't look like it at first, but when you finally run the numbers and you're actually living it, it is more profitable. Heno says, I have cash in hand at this moment and I want to buy properties, but the economy is making me nervous. Don't buy anything. Don't buy anything. You only buy when you know you have a good deal. So make sure that when you're buying, you know you have a good deal. You make your money in the buy. So if you're not feeling good, like, oh my God, this is a good deal, I want to buy it so no one else gets it, then it's probably not a good deal. Now, if it is a good deal, then you just have to build your comfort level to be able to buy the properties. So it does take some time. It is nervous, And lastly, I'm going to add to this. Do not fall in love with the first property you look at. Look at hundreds of properties. Walk through them. Do not fall in love, because usually it's the first deal is not the best deal. All right. Do you think a HUD foreclosed home is a good deal at a price of $207 that has a fair market value of $249? It's okay. It's not that good of a deal, to be honest with you, because if you buy it and then try to resell it, there's not much profit after you pay realtor fees and everything else. In addition to that, if it's a HUD foreclosed home, it probably needs a lot of work. So when you buy it at $207, it's worth $249. You probably have to spend $10,000, $20,000. So you're at $227. It's not really much profit there left. All right. How do you evaluate a good deal? I think what a good deal is if there's a lot of room for improvement in the property where I can force appreciation. Running numbers and create all types of scenarios and run the numbers for each one. Yeah, that's good. All right, so got a question comment here. How do you, okay. I saw something about your course on Instagram. Will it be helpful in all real estate markets? I'm from India. I want to build my financial education. So most finance across the country, across the world is about the same. It differs in interest rates, it differs in currency type, but it's the same. For example, in India, interest rates are not 3% like they are in America. The interest rates are like 12, 15%. But American real estate appreciates roughly 3 to 5% on average, where Indian real estate appreciates roughly like 15% on average. So your interest rate's higher, but your appreciation's higher. But your net difference is what matters. Those are things you're going to learn, where it doesn't really matter about, well, this interest rate's different and that interest rate's different and this loan isn't that loan. The principle of how to run the business is what matters. All right. Hugo says, how many times did you fail before being able to run the numbers pretty well? I mean, I did it for 5 years. I was running number for 5 years. And even when I was really, really good, because I started when I was 14, I got really, really good. The problem was I was 17 and I actually was able to buy my first deal at 16, but my dad wouldn't co-sign. I found a really good deal. It was gonna be a house, but it was a house that was like $40,000 and it was in really good shape. And I could rent it and make good money. So official says add me. Official, what do you want to talk about? Hen says, I live in DC. Is it a good idea to invest in another state such as Florida? Yes, it's a really good idea to invest in Florida. Florida is a great market. Texas is a great market. Arizona is a great market. It's really important also if you're going to be buying properties out of state is to partner with somebody, because I have a lot of people that I see come buy properties in Florida and they buy them in the really, really bad areas. And what they'll end up doing is they're like, wow, this is a great cap rate. I'm making 10% cap rate. Like, that's awesome. Like, but it's in a bad area. So the problem is, even though the cap rate looks good on paper, the reality is it's a lot of work to actually actualize those profits. Paper profits doesn't mean it's a real profit. So you have to be careful where you're buying because you want real profits. So, official, you're saying add me. Why should I add you? Tell me, what do you want to talk about? All right, I find your videos very helpful. Can I refer your channel to my friends? I'm from India. Yes, you can refer my channel to friends. YouTube has a lot of content, hundreds of hours. You're going to learn a lot more there. Do you think Orlando residential real estate will crash next year? Yes. Hey, I'm going to start my first business. Could you please help me out with a donation? No. This is the thing. Don't ask people for donations. Your business will fail. Never go to someone and say you need something. Always offer a solution for their problem. That is how you get business. Please, I really need this sale, right? Salespeople out there. And everybody looking to be in business in some type of way. You're a salesperson. Don't ever go to a client and be like, I really need this sale. They don't care. You sound desperate and your product sounds bad. Because why can't you sell it if it was good? But where you're going to benefit is by showing them how your product meets their needs. You're going to get a ton of sales. The issue I'm having right now is I am so busy, I can't even keep up with everything I need to do. Because when you have something that other people need, people come to you. And that's how you have to position yourself. All right. Daniel says his course is 10 out of 10. Save my buddy 5K in taxes. Awesome. So, guys, I love you all. I wish you all the best. It's getting late. If you have any questions, let me know. If you need to do a refinance, DM me. I'll help you with your refis. If you're looking to do deals in Florida, let me know. I'll put you on my list. I'm looking to buy more properties, but only if they're great deals, okay? So, but if you let me know, I'll put you on the list and then I'll let you know if anything comes up. All right, guys. You're welcome, Griffin.